Matthew 14. When Herod, the first of Galilee, heard about Jesus, he said to his advisors, this must be John the Baptist, raised from the dead. That is why he can do such miracles. For Herod had arrested and imprisoned John as a favor to his wife Herodias, the former wife of Herod, brother of Philip. John had been telling Herod, "It is against God's law for you to marry her." Herod wanted to kill John, but he was afraid of a riot, because all the people believed John was a prophet. But a birthday party for Herod and Herod's daughter performed a dance that greatly pleased him. So he promised with a vow to give her anything she wanted. At her mother's urging, the girl said, "I want the head of John the Baptist and it on a tray." Then the king regretted what he had said because of the vow he had made in front of his guests. He ensured the necessary orders. So John was beheaded in prison, and his head was brought out on a tray and given to the girl, who took it to her mother. And later John's disciples came for his body and buried it. And then they went and told Jesus what happened. As soon as Jesus heard the news, he left in a boat to a remote area to be alone. But the crowds heard where he was headed and followed him on foot from many towns. Jesus saw that the huge crowd as he stopped from the boat, and he had compassion on them and healed their sicknesses. That evening the disciples came to him and said, "This is the remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowd away so they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." But Jesus said, "That isn't necessary. You feed them." "But we have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here," he said. Then he told the people to sit down on the grass. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish and looked up to heaven and blessed them. Then, breaking the loaves into pieces, he gave the bread to the disciples, who distributed it to the people. They all as much ate as they wanted. And afterward, the disciples picked up the 12 baskets of leftovers. About 5,000 men were fed that day, in addition to all the women and the children. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his followers, his disciples, get back into the boat and cross to the other side of the lake. While he sent the people home, after sending them home, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble, far away from the land, for a strong wind had risen, and they were fighting heavy waves. About 3 o'clock, walking on the water, when the disciples saw him walking on the water, they was terrified. In their fear, they cried out, "It's a ghost." But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid," he said. "The courage, I am here." Then Peter called to him, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you walking on the water." "Yes, come," Jesus said. Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt in me?" Whatever claim, when they climbed back into that boat, the wind shifted And then the disciples worshiped him. You really are the Son of God, I exclaimed, after they had crossed the little lake, landing at the Gennesaret. When the people recognized Jesus and news after his several When the people recognized Jesus, the news of his arrival spread quickly throughout the whole area. It said people were bringing all the sick to be healed, and they begged him to let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe, and all who touched him was healed. So that was Matthew chapter 14.